Okay, now.
I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Yeah. Let's speak on it. It's a stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. Won't kick it on me and go for three on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered, these corners. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Let's speak.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to D's Corner. Again, I'm D. We're going to continue on with the offseason recap grades. Today's video, we got the NFC South. There was a lot of shakeups in this division. Before we get into the content again, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, don't forget to check out my guy Static Spaz's website. The link is in the comment section below. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, first up, we got the Atlanta Falcons. They had an active offseason. I wouldn't call it the best. For free agency, my player spotlight is going to be Todd Gurley. They brought the Georgia boy back home. And in the draft, we're going to go with A.J. Terrell, their first-round pick out of Clemson. Todd Gurley's coming off a down year in which he had 12 touchdowns. A down year in which he had 12 touchdowns. His knee issues are still a concern, as the doctors don't know when the arthritis will flare up. In 2018, he helped lead the Rams to a Super Bowl. He had 1,251 yards and 17 touchdowns. If he can come anywhere close to the down year he had last year, he'll greatly help this team's passing attack. He'll open up opportunities for Calvin Ridley as well as Julio Jones. And with them losing their tight end, this could be a good pickup for the Falcons. In A.J. Terrell, the Falcons are getting a 6'1", 193-pound, 4.4 speed corner. That's good size, good speed, but most likely he's going to be thrust into a starting role as the Falcons released Desmond Trufant. The kid's going to struggle early in this division. The Atlanta Falcons offseason recap grade for me is a D. They lost Austin Hooper and traded for Hayden Hurst, who's heading towards bust status. Dante Fowler Jr. should help with the pass rush. He's really their only pickup they had in free agency defensively. Their linebacker core is extremely weak outside of Deion Jones. Like I said, this secondary is going to struggle. Keanu Neal is always hurt, and in my opinion, he should have been traded. That could have alleviated some cap space because the Falcons' cap situation is pure garbage. A.J. Terrell, in my opinion, that was a big-time reach. He was a second-round corner, in my opinion, and there were plenty of first-round corners still available when they selected Terrell. That's a huge reach. They could have traded down to a receiver-needy team. CeeDee Lamb was still on the board. They could have got a big haul and really benefited from it. But they took Terrell, and he wasn't a terrible corner. But in the ACC, he didn't play very many NFL caliber receivers. And when he did play them, the national championship game against LSU, they was cooking him. And now you got to think he's going to be going up against Tom Brady twice a year, Drew Brees twice a year, throwing to Mike Evans and Mike Thomas twice a year. Todd Gurley's knee issues are still a concern. Their O-line is a concern, even though they did add to it last draft. But with Todd's age in the NFL, especially for running back standing not for long, I would like to see him go to a team that is positioned to compete. I don't see the Falcons being anywhere near the playoffs. I don't see the Falcons being even a good team this year. And that's sad to say with the talent that they have. But their Super Bowl window was slammed shut when they let the Patriots come back from a 28-3 deficit. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers, who had an interesting offseason. They paid Christian McCaffrey top dollar, but then they let go of their former MVP, their former leader, the guy who got them to the Super Bowl, Cam Newton. And on defense, they lost their defensive player of the year, their leader, a guy that helped them get to the Super Bowl, Luke Kuechly, to retirement. So our free agency, we're going to go with the man who's scheduled to replace Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater. And on the draft side, we're going to go with their first round pick, Derrick Brown, defensive tackle out of Auburn. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 in spot duty last year with the Saints. He was a driving force to keep their playoff hopes alive. He went for 1,384 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 picks. This is his first time being entrenched as the starter since 2016 when he had the knee injury with the Vikings. But this time around, he's basically on a rebuilding team. And with Cam Newton and Kyle Allen both gone and the money that he got, he will definitely be the starter for the Panthers. And Derrick Brown, they're getting a 6'5", 326-pound mountain of a man at defensive tackle. He's strong. He's athletic. He'll push the pocket. He can chase down plays from the backfield. He's a good foundational defensive piece, something extremely well to start building defense around with this new regime. Hey, he's a very good building block for the future. The Carolina Panthers offseason recap grade for me is a C. They lost Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly in the same offseason. That's a big blow. Trey Boston, they finally gave him more than a one-year deal. But outside of him and Teddy Bridgewater and Robbie Anderson, those were their only noteworthy pickups in free agency. The Panthers used all their draft picks on defense. Not sure what defense they plan on running. I would guess 4-3 based off their first 2 picks. Derrick Brown and Yetur Gross-Matos should be good building blocks on the defensive front. Jeremy Chin has the size and speed to develop into a solid, strong safety or transition to linebacker. This draft was all defense, all solid picks, but as deep of a receiver class as this was, I would have liked to see them get something outside to pair with DJ Moore and to take pressure off Christian McCaffrey. But with the leash on this regime, as long as it is, they have a 6-year deal for Coach Rule. They can focus on one side of the ball at a time while they try to build the team and the culture they want. When you lose your defensive leader and your offensive leader in the same offseason, there's no way you get higher than a C. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints, who didn't have a great offseason. They had a decent offseason. They did feel probably their biggest need, which was getting a compliment to Michael Thomas, and that's going to be our player spotlight for free agency and Emmanuel Sanders. And the player spotlight in the draft will be linebacker Zach Bond out of Wisconsin. Emmanuel Sanders is coming off his 3rd Super Bowl appearance. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's a great compliment to Michael Thomas. He's a solid number 2. He can get open, and he's seen just about every defense. He can throw the ball. Sean Payton will love designing plays for this team. Finally having a worthy compliment to Michael Thomas only makes this offense that much more dangerous, and Drew Brees as well. And Zach Bond, they're getting a 6'3", 238-pound linebacker. He had 12 sacks last season. He can rush the passer. He's athletic enough to play in space. He can stop the run. Many thought he would be a first-round pick, and you get a first-round talent in the 3rd round who can rush the passer, who can play in space, who can cover, as you see here. That's a fantastic pickup for a position of need as well on their defense. So it only makes their defense that much better, especially in the area of need. The New Orleans Saints offseason recap grade for me is a C. They re-signed Drew Brees, and then they signed Jameis Winston, and then they re-signed Taysom Hill. I'm not sure what they're doing at the quarterback position. Bringing in Emmanuel Sanders was a great pickup. The draft was odd. Many thought they would get Patrick Queen, who they needed middle linebacker help, but they opted for a center, an interior offensive lineman, the second year in a row that they've taken one. Then at the end of the draft, they traded their remaining picks to move up and select another quarterback. Kind of like the Bears with tight ends, the Saints have 4 quarterbacks. Not sure what their plan is there. You have to be wondering, why not get a young receiver who can learn from Emmanuel Sanders, who is 33, and team up with Mike Thomas in the future? This team needs as many weapons around Michael Thomas as possible, especially with a lot of people thinking this is Drew Brees' last year. Alvin Kamara's coming up on a contract year. He'll need to be paid. So it just would have made more sense, as deep as a receiver class as this was, for a team needing more offensive firepower to go in that direction, especially if they want to make this a Super Bowl season. It just would have made more sense to me. Finally, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who probably have made the biggest move of the offseason, bringing in player spotlight Tom Brady, the GOAT, over from New England in free agency. And in the draft, which I think is their best pick and one of my favorite picks in general in the entire draft, was Antoine Winfield Jr., the safety out of Minnesota. It's a great pickup for them. And Tom Brady, everybody know they're already getting the GOAT. He's a 6-time Super Bowl winner. He's a 3-time league MVP. He's a 4-time Super Bowl MVP. With the most dangerous group of weapons he's ever had in his career. I never thought that he would leave the Pats, but he could give this team faith and leadership through his work and preparation. As we've seen, he's been doing that with team practices all COVID season long. In Antoine Winfield, the Bucs are getting a 5'9", 203-pound safety who has pedigree, instincts, and versatility. He was compared to the Honey Badger. What better regime to go to than the regime that drafted the Honey Badger and will know exactly how to deploy him? And he has NFL bloodlines. His dad played 14 years in the NFL with the Seahawks, Bills, and most remember him where he was a 3-time Pro Bowler with the Vikings. Ironically, his dad intercepted his current quarterback. So Tom Brady has played with 2 generations of Winfield. That just shows you how long he's been playing. I feel like that's a pretty crazy stat. I got picked off by your dad. It's going to lead to some nice conversations. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offseason recap grade for me is an A. This team was held back last year by poor quarterback play, especially in the clutch. And Tom Brady plays great in the clutch. No point of the game is too big for Brady. They brought back their best 3 defensive players up front with Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Shaq Barrett. They brought in Joe Haeg from Indy. He can play guard or tackle. They drafted Tristan Wirfs, who can play guard or tackle. He'll probably slide over and play right tackle. So they basically made sure to protect their investment in Brady by giving him a solid offensive line. And this was a top 10 pass blocking offensive line already last year. Tom is going to be playing with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, and they got Rob Gronkowski. This should open up better opportunities in the run game and maybe help Ronald Jones become the player that they thought he was coming out of USC. With the Falcons' defense diminishing, the Panthers rebuilding, and now a 17 playoff situation, I could definitely see this team making the playoffs for the first time since 2007. The defense played well last year due to constant quarterback turnovers. They were on the field far too much. Antoine Winfield Jr. fell to the perfect defensive scheme. He was compared to the Honey Badger, like I said before. This team is going to know how to utilize him. He'll play in the slot. He'll play over the top. He'll play in the box. They'll blitzing. He'll probably return kicks. This kid's going to be a baller. But this team had a great offseason. They filled major holes, and they brought in the best veteran that you could bring in the GOAT. This team has Super Bowl aspirations. I do not know that they'll get there, but no team has ever played in the Super Bowl that is hosted by its city. And the Super Bowl this year is in Tampa. We'll see if Tom Brady continues to make history. All right, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Again, this is the end of the video. Please, please, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out my guy Static Spaz. His link is in the comment section below. I really, really, really appreciate you guys watching. If you disagree or if you have any comments, man, don't feel free to go ahead and drop them down. I'm going to get back with you. We can chat it up, debate, whatever you need, whatever you want. We got it. If you want to see some other type of videos, let me know. I'm working on each team's record predictions, but I'm going to continue out the offseason recap grade until I'm done with each division. All right, I'm out of here.
Okay, now. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Yeah. Let's speak on it. It's a stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. Won't kick it on me and go for 3 on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered, D's corner. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Let's speak on it. It's a stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. Won't kick it on and go for 3 on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered, D's corner, like, yeah.